Hey, welcome to another episode of Electrical Theology. I'm your host, Charles. This is Esoteric Life Coaching, and I didn't do a video yesterday. I just got back in from Florida. Uh, Been there a couple weeks, and now got back home. And now, since I didn't do a video yesterday on the ancestors or on the divines are the highest realms. Uh, they live up in the man's ions, mansions. And then sort of on a electrical hierarchical grid, none being best or worse than anyone else. You just look at it, instead of looking at it up and down, let's look at it sideways, like an electromagnetic spectrum, right? Is and look at this as a rainbow, and there's all the colors of the rainbow, but is any of them really better or worse? No, it's all part of the same construct, right? They just illuminate themselves differently, so that gives you an idea of who you're communicating with in the ancestral realm. The archangels, if you want to call them that. I call them all divines, di and vine. Di meaning two, vine meaning the form of which they communicate with us on. You can call it channeling, you can call it whatever you want. It's your vocabulary, right? And I'm here just to teach the basics, not to get into any one philosophy or any one way of doing it. There's no wrong or right to doing communications with your divine. Back in history, it was the church, and again, nothing against the church. The church just means kukos, meaning circle, right? And so it's just a circuit. And so what we're doing is just transmitting and receiving information because we are an instrument, right? Humans build instruments, much like Tesla, Nikola Tesla, Amperes, Volta. These guys all invented what we know today as the instruments that we're using in everything, and that was 150 years ago they built this stuff. And so what they did is they built it off of the understanding of humans, right? Because we're operating under the same premises, the apparatuses that they built. Right? And it was all to communicate or bring down God into every day. Right? That's how they serve God, by bringing God, the electric, into everyday life, so your life is better. You have warm running water, right? You have lights you can see at night to keep you safe, right? This is God. That's how God's everywhere. It's electric. That doesn't mean anything less than or it's impersonal. No, my electric God is more personal than you can imagine. And it's because of this God electric, right, that you've been able to have a better life. Right? How you talk on your cell phones, right? Now we can get into that. That's a whole philosophy. Again, if you want to know everything about understanding how I see things, right, and it's just my way, my opinions. Right? Over 45, 50 years of doing this stuff. Yes, I was very young doing this stuff, even though I may look old. I've been doing this stuff for a few decades and teaching it and studying it. And there's no wrong or right to any of this. It's just your interpretation, and you're going to give your biased opinion because it's your way of whatever it is you are perceiving. I don't care who you think you're perceiving it from. Like they have their perceptions, you have your perceptions. You're going to interpret what they say. So anyway, bringing down information is no different than tuning into the radio or TV. It's all happening because of electricity, right? And what I'm doing, just like an electrician, we have an instrument. And that instrument can tell us, is that apparatus, that TV, that light, that washer dryer, how come it's not working? Well, the first thing we check is power. If it doesn't have enough power, then that instrument's not going to work. And in your life, if you don't have enough power coming into you because you're blocking it, basically because of your outdated opinions, right? And that's what the divines have been really communicating, in that it's time to get rid of your old, outdated opinions. Now, again, we all have opinions. What I'm telling you is my opinion, because I don't have all the facts. Neither do you or anyone else there. Anyone else claiming to have all the facts to life, right? Is I would run the opposite way, or just understand that. Okay, explain everything to me in the world. One, they don't have enough time. Two, they haven't had enough time to go out and study everything, right? I don't care if the divines come and give me this information. They don't have all the answers, right? Because they are in a form. As long as you're in the form, you don't have the big picture. But what I can do is if I want to know something about the stock market today, I'm going to go on the news and find someone talking about stocks. Now, because that person, be it on different broadcast networks, I'm not going to name any of them, but on one, they're going to say one thing about the economy because they've been bought and paid to do so. And you're going to have another institution that's, or another broadcast system that says, oh, everything's great. And then you're going to have people in our government come out saying, yes, the economy's booming, right? So you're going to have all these different opinions. And they have their fact finders, right? But again, they're all different stories. So either all of them are wrong, right? And so the same thing as the divine. None of one's right and wrong. It just depends on what perspective that they're choosing to tell you, right? And we're going to do our best to interpret that information, right? I'm not going to hold anything back when it comes to reading, right? I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. If I get a card and it's next to a death card and a tower card and a temperance card, I'm going to tell you that you're going to have a hard time dealing with death here, right? A physical death in your life, right? Now, I'm going to keep it general. If you want personal readings, you can click on my links below and get a personal reading with me, and that's how I am. I'm just going to keep it real. I will try to be compassionate in the way I say things, because in the past I didn't, right? But I know part of my growth is about understanding compassion of passing my ions. How am I passing my ions? How do people interpret my ions? How do I know? I ask them, right? Now, to be honest with me, that's fine, or to just fluff it and say, oh, it's fine, it's great. All that's great, but again, it's their version of me. The only person in the integrity that I can come at is just telling you what I see. These are just paint. This is just ink. Right? These cards are just ink. Right? These cards aren't magical. Right? They're just paper ink. Right? When I'm throwing the cards down, the cards are like a crystal ball. You're looking at the cards, not me necessarily. I want you looking at the cards because what it does is help me get in the back door of your mind, if you will. No, that's not a bad thing. It's that we're so distracted with bills and ex-lovers and war and whatever it is that you want to watch TV or argue with your family or whatever, right? This is all distracting. And so all I'm here to do is have you focus on something and focus on that card, while I'm able then to easily pick up what you're holding back from because of this distraction. Makes sense? So let's just get on with it today. So because I didn't do yesterday, which is the divine that I normally communicate with, I'm going to start doing readings every single day. And no, I'll educate you on some stuff. If you want to know more of my stuff, you can click on the links below, and eventually you can become a member, a monthly member or a daily member, depending, because these videos, I'll do an extended video if you want more information. But each day will be the ancestors. I talked a lot this weekend, so I'm a little hoarse. The divines will be Monday. The ancestors will be Tuesday. Your relatives on the other side, friends and family. A general reading on Wednesday with tarot, and still teaching you about spreads and stuff. Thursday is going to teach you more about understanding, contacting which realm or which divine. There's many divine beings out there. Which ones do you want to contact? And this, I will show you how to hone in on that. And then Friday is manifesting. So whatever it is you want to do in your life, through the tarot, through these other techniques I'm teaching you, right? And again, these are just pictorials. These are pictures. These are just icons or symbols. What we want to get used to is understanding, where did that symbol come from? This got painted. This card got cut. It was made from wood or pulp or whatever ingredient came from the dirt, right? But before this card was here, it wasn't here. And then we mixed some ingredients and poof, the card's here. So I'm painting it, boom, it's here. Right? That's your life. It's always unfolding. So when I unfold the card, right, I'm unfolding the present moment. We talked about the present moment and all that good stuff, right? So Friday is going to be about manifesting. That is getting in touch with the energy before it actually manifests. And some of the spreads that we put out here, some of the spreads are I'll do a quick one here. Right. The card up top, I don't know if you can see this? Let's bring it down. Card up top, which we'll just call Eight of Cups. Right? The Eight of Cups, what's coming in essence, is failure. Right? What kind of failure? Again, that'll depend on the reading. But what's manifesting, what's coming in, this card up top that I'm showing you, is what's about to come. It's not manifested yet. Does that make sense? So when it's not manifested, we can change this card, if you will. I can change my thought. These cards are just ones and zeros thought waves, if you will. So I can change my thought in a given moment. Right? So I can take that card out. And I can put it, what thought's the best thought for me? Well, there's the Tower upside down. Okay, I don't want that thought. Right? I don't want that thought. And I can go through the cards, and I can say, okay, here's one. 801, swiftness. Right? Instead of having defeat or these other cards that I were pulling, I'm like, no, I don't want that thought. What thought? So these cards can help you rethink, because you may not have your own possibilities yet. I want to flip them until I see an option I like. Then I can say, oh, I like that. I need to take swift action in my life. That's what's coming in. And that's going to lead, in this deck, it's called the universe. It comes after the world, but the universe. So my future, in order to get my future of what's coming in, right, because the card before was holding me back, failure. Right? And I can go into filling more cards in and find out exactly what that failure is, but I can just skip all that and just go, right, what's the answer? Right? I don't need to focus on what I failed on necessarily. I can look at it, extract what didn't work and what did work, and carry it forward or integrate it. What I can do is simply go, there's my answer. Swiftness, right? So I can go really fast. And making sense? So what's happening is that, and this is, if you haven't noticed, this is a divine reading that I'm giving you. I'm just explaining it about how to manifest on Fridays. See, I'm throwing it all together. I know it's confusing for some, it might, but eventually I'm just going to come on and do readings. And then just go into the readings, but I'm still teaching spread. And this is just a basic, again, modified cross spread. And I'll show you a bunch that I've made up, other people have made up. You can make up your own. It just depends on what you want to mirror, what is above and below. I can lay this out in an Orion pattern. I can lay it in the Pleiades pattern. Right? I can make up whatever spread I want. I can make a peanut butter and jelly spread. All right? And I'm being somewhat jovial because a lot of people take this stuff serious. And that's okay, they can, but I'm not. Right? Because you're supposed to have fun with your life. If you're doing a serious reading, then what's that telling you about yourself? You're too damn serious. Get over yourself. Right? So if you want to have fun in life, if you want fun things to come to you, then do fun readings. If you want to be serious in life, then do serious readings. Then you'll attract serious people. I want fun and jovial people. I want people who are ready to change their lives. Right? And I'm just there to help them reframe. This is a frame, people. Right? This is a frame. Right? It's just a frame, a picture frame. So we're going to help them reframe how it is they speak. They don't want failure. Well, what don't you? What do you want? Well, I want success. What kind of success? I want it now. Swiftness. You see how we're playing with that? So we're just reframing. All right. So what we see here from the divines and what the divines are telling us is that there's some quick stuff ready to happen in your life. And again, this is a broad reading, right? On a personal level, for those who have been doing their work, for those who have been going into the esoteric and understanding themselves, right, and dealing with the heart emotion, owning up to that everything you think about someone else is your thoughts, it's not them. It's okay to have those thoughts, but if you're stuck on and looping those thoughts, who's looping those thoughts? You are. There's no amount of medicine or drugs or guru that's going to help you get out of that thought. The only person that's going to help you get is you by owning that thought and saying, I'm the one thinking that thought. If I'm the one thinking that thought, then I can put in a new thought. What kind of thought? I need swiftness in my life. That card's a little hard to see. Right? I need to take swift action. Right? Because if I want the world in my life, right, or the universe, if I want to tap into the universe, then I need to do something quick. Right? And the universe, if you don't allow it to happen, it's going to come quick. If you saw one of the cars that came through here, the tower, here's the tower, right? So swiftness is coming. So if you're not ready for it, what does that mean? What's some examples of that? Okay, let's say, and this, I'm going to give you a scenario of what the divines have been sharing with me for a few years, and it's getting so close here, probably October 24th, 25th, to about November 6th, right? I'm not going to go into details, this would be too long, but basically the essence of their information is that the stock market's going to crash. Yes, they follow our energy patterns. We then created stock markets, gold, dollars, all this stuff. We created these housing markets. Man created this. Well, they can see if there's a big wave coming in and you're a ship in the ocean, but you're miles away and can't see it and your radars aren't picking up because you don't have the right equipment to communicate, then this big wave's coming, you won't see it and before it's too late. So this is basically what I'm telling you, is that the majority of the world who haven't been doing their work are going to be caught off guard and going to get basically smacked down, energetically speaking. And so it's the domino effect is that the stock market, they're going to make it seem like, oh, it's going to go up, it's going up, invest. It's not. It's going to crash another 40 or 50%. They're going to print trillion, our government's going to print trillion more dollars really fast. Other markets are going to then sell their treasury bonds. And again, I'm not going to get into the details. I had other videos way back when, but it got too difficult for most. So you're just going to sell their bonds back to America and get rid of their cash, which basically is going to devalue cash so bad. So then they're going to print more money, and then eventually no one's going to take the dollar because it has no value anymore because we just printed it. The more you print, the less value something becomes. If I had a gold watch and there was only one, I can sell it for millions. Then let's say someone copied it, right? Now they're selling hundreds of them. Do you think I can still get $1 million for that watch? No, because there's a whole bunch more out there that look just like it and operate and talk just like it. So there's swiftness. So what's going to end up happening because of that is that then the stock market's going to crash a little bit more. And then people are going to panic. And they're going to run to the stores and wipe out the shelves within seconds. Right? So what swift action I can take? I can go right now before all this happens. Right? And this is called, for what I call common sense prepping, knowing that this wave's about to hit, then I'm going to go out and buy whatever it is you need to survive for the next 30, 60, 90, 3 months, 6 months. I always recommend 3 to 6 months of storage of food. Right? And don't tell everyone you have it. Right? That's just common sense. It's like telling your enemy where you are on the battle. Hey, we're over here, shoot over here. Right? Don't tell your enemy what you have. Right? So there's swiftness that has to be taken out. Because basically, what has come before and why I'm telling you this, why the divines are saying this, is because there's a lot of oppression. Right? Your rights are being taken away. Right? They're restricting you. They're making the company, and we're just going to keep vague quotes right now. IMF, World Economic Forum, there's plenty of bodies, right? But we don't want to get locked in because you can't do anything about these bodies. I'm not being pessimistic, right? If you're watching these videos, then you're probably not part of the World Economic Forum or the big bodies or the industrial complex or any of these things, guys. I was part military, so I understand some things, and I'm not privy to a lot of things. I had certain clearances that gave me privy to information, but it doesn't give me all the information, right? But we do know certain patterns and certain things, and we know how to oppress. Either we can devalue your money, and then we basically can control the people, right? We can control the food, therefore we can control the mind, right? And then if you control the energy, you can control the world. And that's what's going on right now. They're taking these things away. They're making them short. They're blowing things up. That's fine. This isn't the first time it's happened. This has happened thousands and thousands of years ago. If not, read the ancient text. Just go in the Bible and read all the stories of all the blowing up and entire cities being taken down, right? And all the battles, right? This isn't the first time this has happened. It's not going to be the last time, right? Because Earth is a training ground to help you elevate your soul to a higher frequency so then you can go into the next realm and understand their realm. But if you're still blaming and faulting, you're not going to get to, you're not going to understand what it takes to increase your vibration so you can go up to, in the elevator, if you will, that I've discussed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that elevator video. Then you won't be able to go to the higher next round. You'll just have to recycle. It's like sitting in the second grade over and over and over, and finally you're like, screw it, I'm smart, I can take this, I'm going to do it. I don't know why I kept on resisting, right? It's the ego, it's the distraction. These parties that I mentioned, they want you distracted, they want you divided, they don't want you divine. And so I am doing what I'm doing as a mission is bringing you the divine information without the distraction and just let you know what's coming. Part of some Bible stories, and again, most people in this part of the world know that are more familiar with Christian stories than they are the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, or the Vedas, or anything like this. So I'm just going to, y'all can look up the equivalents if you need to, but basically, in the old days, there was prophecy that there was a person, be it Moses or Jesus. And again, from my perspective, you have to understand that the Old Testament is just a redo of the New Testament. Is just a redo of the Old Testament, and they just changed the names of the characters, but it's the same character. So Jesus and Moses were the same people. Their lives were very parallel. You can see exactly what they did. Moses took his people out of slavery. What does Jesus do? Take you out of slavery and saves you. Moses was supposed to be killed by Herod. I think it is, I'm not mixing the two up because they're the same story. Right? It was just a newer version of the same old story. Right? It's when someone redoes a movie from the 1960s and makes it modern. People are like, oh, that's a great movie. And you tell them, well, that was done back in 50. No, it's just a redo. It's different characters, right? So what is happening is that there's a new energy coming in, right? And this is sort of what we have to cross over, right? Ace of Wands or Ace of Swords is a new thought. It's a new frequency. And that's what they're telling you to get ready for is a new frequency. So the door to the elevator to the higher frequency is opening up, and it's up to you to step into that new frequency and ride it to a higher frequency. So let's say you've been dealing with a lot of family issues, second chakra, second arc. Arc is in chakra, so it's the second arcing. Right? And if you've been dealing with a lot of family, but let's say you've been doing your work and you've been doing your work, and all of a sudden you're getting over it, and you come back and you're loving, you got rid of your ego, you're helping them understand you a little bit more, right? Not by telling them, but by showing them, in essence. And when you can show them that you're open and you're ready to get rid of your ego, then maybe that shows them that they can do it too, and that it's okay. If you've been dealing with family stuff like that, and now we're not going to say you're 100%, but at least you have an understanding. That's an elevation, right? It's a new compassion. You're passing your ions back and forth. Ions are God's integrity. And so when you pass your integrity back and forth, then other people want to be integral. So I say all this because there's new thinking coming in. If you want to get to that higher frequency, right, you have to be ready to be open to this new thought wave, because that's what the tower is going to do. There's literally towers being erected all over the world. Right? Some people like them, some don't. Everyone's got their conspiracies. It's a new tower, literally, people, that are being built because the frequency is going to change the brainwaves in the way you think, right? Because if not, then we stay Cro-Magnon, we stay Neanderthal, right? We stay Australopithecus, right? But we don't. So those who are choosing to do their work, and what I call, we're going to change into Homo Illuminus, right? I always forget what we are, Homo erectus or whatever we are now. I can't remember today. It always changes, just like the story of Moses and Jesus. It's just a new frequency. We're not meant, this frequency is only meant to keep us down here cognitively, right? And when we're ready as a species, then they're going to bring that up, and those who are able to adapt, right, who have the fitness, who have done their work, their mental work, their physical work, spiritual work, nutritional work, holistic work. And when they've done this, they will be able to grasp when the change comes. And it's going to come, again, with a monetary change to our whole world. Right? And when these physical changes are happening in your world, we're going to sit back and we're like, we know this is coming. We were told that it was coming. And you can get caught up into it, that's fine. But again, if you always remember who's thinking, who's observing this, you are. Right? And it's what you do with those thoughts about your observation. That makes sense? So basically, there's new thought coming in. There is material gain for those who, right, there's gold and silver coming in. So part of material preparation, financial preparation, stock up. I can't tell you what to do, but what I've done, right, you stock up on some of those resources, gold, silver, because when the dollar crashes, the stock market crashes on that day, and it's going to happen within 24 hours, right, gold is going to shoot up incrementally, and it's going to slow down somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 an ounce, 7,000 an ounce, 9,000. They keep telling me it's going to go higher, 10,000. In what period of time? It can be 7 months it goes that high. Now it can come back down a little bit after that, but everyone rushes in. But what's going to happen is no one's going to be able to buy gold after a certain, we'll say 30 days, maybe even 20 days, maybe shorter, because everyone's going to run out and grab gold and silver, right, and Bitcoin, right? Because when the stock crashes, the inverse happens. The inverse, right? We're talking about the universe, the universal card, right? So what happens is the inverse. So the dollar crashes, gold and silver goes up. Real estate goes down, gold and silver goes up. Throughout history, they're always inverse. Get it? They're in the verse. Right? And they will reverse. So gold, silver, if you're not stocking up on that, if you're like, well, Charles, right? If you cannot, I can't afford that, right? Well, you got cable, you got cell phones, you got a whole bunch of things, right? An ounce of silver is still only around $20, right? If not, you can buy it in increments. Buy little pieces of silver. I'm sure you can put away cigarettes for a day or 10 cups of coffee for a week or a month, and you can have a few $100s. The silver, it may go up to, right now it's around 20, it can go up to 300. You're staying a little lower right at the start. It's around 276, 279. Keep those numbers in mind, right? But those are preparations. Prepare the ions, right? Preparation, prepare ions. So I'm telling you to prepare. Your transmitter and receivers open up. They want you to open up. And when I'm saying open up, that's the feminine empress, right? The empress is about opening up to receive this divine information. Receive your unique divine information. The way I receive it, the way I interpret it is going to be totally different from you or anyone else, right? Yours is going to be unique to yourself, right? But you have to be open. What does open mean? Your heart. You have to be compassionate. We're not going to rub it in people's faces when we're, again, filling our freezers up with food. Right? I told people a year ago, whenever it was, time flies, but I said start packing your meat lockers, right? Start preparing, right? Because, and within last year, the prices and pretty much all your food and commodities doubled. And it's only going to double again. And it's going to be harder to get it because it'll be run out. I'm not fear-mongering. All you have to do is go back in history in the 1970s, and the same thing happened. Go back and research the toilet paper caper back then, right? Y'all thought the toilet paper thing here in 2020, whenever it was the first time. It wasn't. And then you got to imagine a time when there was no toilet paper. People didn't own toilet paper because no one invented it. So with this new energy, this new cognitive coming in, this new cognitive ability, it's about creating new things that we don't have. So you're going to be called upon to bring in new inventions like Tesla and Volta and Amperes and all these guys and Joules. Right? You're going to be called to be open to answer that call, and that's what they're saying here, guys. Right? It's going to take work. You're here to do a whole new. So if you bring in the universe, new information, right? Swift action. Right? So the universe is opening up. We need to receive it, and we need to take action, right? And how do we take it, or what's the speed? Swiftness. So if you get things in your life right now that you're dragging your butt on, and when that tower hits, right, when that collapse in our economic and the way you perceive life is going to change drastically, right? What you thought was wrong or right is going to be totally changed, right? I'm not going to tell you what church is going to collapse, but a big giant church is going to collapse. Not a physical necessarily, but the institution of that and it was built on 7 hills. And so I won't get more into that, but that in infrastructure, the whole concept of that structure is part of that oppression. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's oppressing ions. It's energy that was pressed. It was oppressed. It's pressed ions. And like energy needs to grow and expand and collapse. So part of these institutions, and again, I'm not saying any of them are good or bad. They're just old institutions. Right? You don't have 2-phase wiring in your house anymore. There's 4 wires. Right? Because the 2s, that's all they knew back then. But they're not safe. Right? Not with the equipment we plug in today. If you plug that in there, your house would burn down, and that's what happened. So now we have a ground, a neutral, a positive, negative, all that good stuff, because it can handle the electricity. So you're being asked to open up so your cells and your bodies and your double helix can go to triple helix and become homo illuminated. Right? Science will call it transhumanism, but there is an argument going on: can we do it spiritually and open up, or are we going to have to take some integrations mechanically and chemically? That'll be for another time, and that'll be another thing with the divines. But I think that'll about do it today, guys. I'm not going to do an extra video today. I'll do one tomorrow because I got a lot of things I got to take care of since I got back and I've been gone a while. But I hope you appreciate this. If it is, I'll put some links in the description below so you can go and buy some of the videos or look at those descriptions and see if any of them are interested in it. Because I'm not going to be doing a lot of the classes anymore, because that's what I did at the start, is to present you with all the foundations of what we're doing here. And if you want to learn what I know, if you want to just tap into my uniquenesses of how I perceive things and develop things, then you can go watch some of those courses. I'm going to be putting about 50 or 100 of them up. It just depends what I feel. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in and look forward to seeing you next time. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, guys.